The man in the arena. The poorest way to face life is to face it with a sneer, a cynical habit of thought and speech, a readiness to criticize work which the critic himself never tries to perform, an intellectual aloofness which will not accept contact with life's realities. All these are marks not of superiority, but of weakness. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. Thank you, President Trump, for striving to make America great again. Well, howdy there, pipe bells. Holy smokin' pipe padre. Speaking to you from the gulag. I sure hope not. Anyway, Happy New Year. Let me start off by at least being somewhat, what's the word I'm even looking for? I like most of you, this is January 8th, and it's been a very, very, shall we say, just an extremely difficult week. But that being said, I'm smoking one of my brother's little Canadian here, and I'm smoking in it some Northwoods from Boswell's. Delicious. And I'm drinking a little bit of Christmas coffee here from my Christmas coffee mug here, or maybe that might have been my birthday mug. I can't remember. But anyway, I'm a DD-214 alumni. And for those of you who are in the military, you know what that means. Okay. Well, again, let me be sociable and just simply say Happy New Year and belated Merry Christmas to you. We still have a few more days for the Christmas season. If you're in the new calendar, the Christmas season officially comes to an end on Monday of next week, after the baptism of the Lord. And if you are still on the old calendar, then it is up till the presentation, and also known as Candlemas. That's really good. Haven't had any Boswells in quite a while. Northwoods. I always loved Northwoods. Delicious. Smooth, mellow, mild, flavorful, heavy on the flavorful. Yeah. Yep, this and a good old cup of Joe is a meal for some people. Oh, man, that's good. Oh, wow. Delicious hot cup of Joe and a nice burning briar, and life is almost right with the world. Well, yes, it is January 8th, 2021. And I'm sure some of you have been wondering if I would dare show my little, Republican face after the shellacking that we've received this year, last year and this year. And of course, all of the, as one guy said, I was listening to some newscast today, and said, remember the Georgia elections? Got kind of like, yeah, I vaguely remember that. It was 2 days ago, folks. And already the political roller coaster is just taking turn after turn after turn. You just think, for one moment you think it's going to maybe kind of slow down and maybe kind of you get to a point where you can kind of navigate and figure out what's going on, and it takes another wicked, wild turn. And so I was going to make a video the other day. Of course, I have to be very, very honest. I was extremely grieved, and I'm still grieved. I'm just not as emotional about it as I was a couple of days ago. So anyway, so where do I begin? There's just so much to talk about. And again, I don't have, like you, like all of us, actually, all of us are in the same boat. Believe it or not, even if you devoted differently than I did in this past election, we're all in the same boat. I'll explain that in a moment. So, President Trump, as at this recording, at 6 p.m., January 8th, has, technically he hasn't conceded, but he is saying that there will be a smooth transition of power on January 20th. He will not be in attendance at the inauguration. I'm not totally surprised at that. But what I am surprised and very grieved and upset about and concerned about is we've been talking about, well, I've been talking about it for years because I saw it coming. But America, the old America and I guess the new socialist America, which just seems to be out of control. And I'm sure there are some people who are gleeful. They're ecstatic. They couldn't be happier. Happy days are here again, and there's going to be free this and free that, and everything's going to just be wonderful as we usher in the secular, anti-God utopia. And unfortunately, it's amazing how they have blamed conservatives and Christians and Republicans and Trump supporters for all the ills in the world. And when you stop and you look and you go, wait a minute, what have we done now? Oh, I'm sure some of you are already, typing away, well, look at what you guys did in the Capitol and blah, blah, blah. Well, first of all, that's not 100% clear what really happened. There's so much conflicting reports. And let me take a moment to honor the young woman, and she's not just a young woman, her name is Ashley Babbitt. Ashley Babbitt, a U.S. Air Force, I believe, veteran who had 2 or 3 deployments, probably to Afghanistan, I think, or maybe Iraq and Afghanistan. A lot of those people that I know who are still wearing the uniform got the chance to go to those 2 lovely vacation spots several times over. But Ashley Babbitt, isn't it interesting? We certainly knew about George Floyd's name minutes and hours after his demise, and this young, they made the mistake again, Ashley Babbitt, we don't hear her name mentioned at all. Isn't that interesting? That should tell you something. So here we are, And this video could probably be deleted. My whole account could be deleted because I'm one of those evil, conservatives, don't you know? And I also smoke a pipe. So those of you who, may be on the other side of the aisle politically, just remember that smoking in general, smoking in period, is not PC. It's just not. And they're coming after you. You think, oh, well, that's just you because you're a hateful Trump supporter. Well, okay. Whatever. But the thing is that what we're seeing happening, and it's happening, well, I'm not at all surprised because this is what happens with totalitarian regimes. When they come in, they just get drunk on power. I said that after the incident on Tuesday, was it Tuesday or Wednesday? Wednesday? That we have awakened a bloodlust demon, and it has an insatiable appetite. It was the same demon that we saw at the French Revolution, and it's the same demon we saw with the Bolshevik Revolution. So these demons, I guess periodically every 100 or so years, come out, and once they're awakened, they do have, without a doubt, an insatiable appetite for blood. Lots and lots of blood. Now, I would have been more hopeful had the response to what happened on Wednesday people had not had such a knee-jerk reaction to quote-unquote condemn the violence. Where were these same people this last summer? In Kenosha, in Wisconsin, that is Wisconsin, Kenosha, Wisconsin, Portland, Seattle, I guess Detroit, all these places that literally were being burnt down. But they were peaceful for the most part, but they were being burnt down and people were being killed. But they were peaceful, and it's okay. It appears, and it seems to be supported, that a lot of the quote-unquote agitators were professional agitators. In fact, some people believe, and it seems to be even verified, that they were actual Antifa people disguised or impersonating or passing themselves off as quote-unquote Trump supporters. There's an interesting video, again, before they take it down. They might have already taken it down, I don't know. One of the guys that's busting a window, was actually tackled by a real Trump supporter. It's like, hey, what the hell are you think you're doing? We don't do that kind of stuff. Because everybody knows that, people that are, and for the most part, you don't see this a lot with the conservatives. They don't go around burning down, buildings and having massive violent riots. Of course, now some of you are going to say, well, what about all the riots and burning that happened after Obama was inaugurated? Remember all those? No, I don't. You want to know why? Because it didn't happen. Another thing, too, is that people were saying things like, how dare these people go to our nation's capital? Half of these people on the other side, once they finally get into power, they're going to dismantle the nation's capital. They're already talking about tearing down the Washington Monument. They're going to probably take down the Lincoln Memorial and the Jefferson Memorial. So don't, spare me when you talk about the Capitol. It's the people's capital. Those people had every right to be there peaceably. And and there was like, okay, now on some estimates, some people will probably later say, there weren't 1 million people there. There were maybe 100,000, maybe. Okay, I don't care about numbers right now. I just don't. But the people there, majority of the people there were people that were respectful. They have great regard for not just the buildings, but Congress itself. And they were praying, they were praying, they were singing. They were, it was kind of it was for all intents and purposes, it was kind of like a Christian, tailgate, a big, massive Christian conservative Trump supporter tailgate, And the majority of those people there were peaceful protesters. They weren't insurrectionists. Now, the other thing I would say also is, okay, the Congress was meeting to decide the votes, to count the electoral votes. Okay, that's all right. That's part of the process. What I think would have been okay, and I don't know what happened, and and I'll explain when I get to this in just a moment, why we don't really know for sure what's going on. But the thing is that had those people been able to take their grievance, and maybe they could have had a small delegation that could have been met by the Capitol Police, the DC Police, whatever, and maybe say 20 of them, 10 of them, whatever, who represented the crowd, and they could have been invited in, and they could say, okay, you guys sit right over here and be quiet and behave yourself, and then, they could have been a part of that process. But that didn't happen. That didn't happen. And again, I think that there were agitators, professional agitators that got there, and they knew that if they could bring discredit upon this group of people, then they knew that they would tarnish, and they would also put everything into, kind of a cocked hat. It's like, see, look at those evil Trump people. And it's like, okay, now they're calling for not only President Trump and his cabinet or people in his administration to be locked up and jailed. They're actually now saying that everybody that supported Donald Trump must be somehow punished. They must be either arrested or somehow fined, or they have to be punished in some way. Now, friends, that's not America. Wake up. It feels like we've lost this wonderful land of freedom and liberty. I mean, this is what totalitarian regimes do. You can only think a certain way. That's what they do in China. That's what they did in the old Soviet Union. Gosh, I had so many other things I wanted to say. Let me kind of relight my pipe here and kind of think about, get my composure. I'm starting to kind of get a little emotional, as you can tell. Oops. I remember I used to have that problem before with the ashes and the cinders flying, and they'd burn my shirt, and I'd have these little holes in my shirt, and I'd look down sometime and I'd see little white showing through, peeking through, and I'd go, oh, what's that little white spot there? It wasn't a little white spot, it was a little burn spot. I'm looking at my t-shirt now because I'm spraying it with pipe cinders. Oh well, I'm sure there's worse things in life. But anyway, so wonderful North Woods. To be honest with you, I was really kind of hoping that this whole thing would kind of mellow out. That the Georgia elections would have probably been like a safeguard. It seems like America up until recently, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, I personally believe that the election has fraudulence. Look, if there's a hint, and there's more than a hint, there's a bad smell in the whole house. It's like, whoa, what's that? There's more than just a hint that something's wrong. All people like me were saying is, let's investigate and make sure that the election wasn't fraudulent. And unfortunately, you go, well, they didn't have any proof. They had proof. The problem is that nobody wanted to listen to it. It's like, you know what? I'll take a leaf out of the left's book. When a woman or even a man who said, I've been abused by somebody, whether it was their spouse, their boyfriend, priest, okay, I'll even throw priest in there too. People would say, that can't be. Come on, knock it off. Go away. We don't want to hear that. And then they all of a sudden say, hey, you got to believe people when they come to you and say that these things happen. At least give them the benefit of the doubt and at least listen to them. That didn't happen, folks. Didn't happen. So we will never, unless somehow, and I don't know. It seems like the Supreme Court's been compromised. Again, I was hoping that the Senate runoffs in Georgia were going to be like a stopgap. It seemed to me up until recently that, okay, The American people don't want to give out and out power to either political party because they know that, yeah, that's not a good thing. That's not a healthy thing. And somehow now we have one party. And here in California, I'm going to tell you, it's a one-party state. There's no competition. There's no challenge to the extreme liberalism and socialism that's already has occurred in this state. There's nothing to challenge it, okay? You shut up and you take it, and if you don't like it, they will punish you. And that's exactly what they're saying right now. Right now, members of Congress, people in the media, are literally saying, not only they're trying to, invoke the 25th Amendment on President Trump, they are now basically saying that all Trump supporters need to be held accountable. It's unreal. It's unreal. I don't know where this is all going to lead. I'm really, am I afraid? No. Am I concerned? You betcha I am. I mean, I'm a person that they clearly don't like. Not me personally, but because of what I represent, what I stand for. I'm a priest. I'm a religious person. And, what the Soviet Union did basically is they tried to destroy the Orthodox Church. Yes, they persecuted and murdered and executed a lot of priests and nuns, and the ones that weren't executed, they went to re-education camps. I'm sure we're going to be seeing a reemergence of those real soon. And they'll basically confiscate the property and desacralize it, and they'll turn it into something secular. It might be like, this church is no longer a church anymore. It's now a re-education center. And we'll arrest that priest and throw him in the gulag, wherever that is, So, and you might say, oh, you're being over the top. You're being hysterical. Well, no, I think I'm being historical. Read history. That's all you got to do. Just one book, folks. Just one book will help you. A Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich, okay? Just telling you, just saying it. Because I'm seeing it being played out right now. And it's not conspiracy theory. It's not hyperbole. I'm not being an extremist. I'm not giving into hysteria. I'm hearing people who know better, who should know better. And don't even, I can hear some of you, well, your president's the one who incited all that. No, he did not. I heard what he said. He said, go there as peaceful patriots. He did not call for any kind of revolution. He didn't call for, any kind of violence. Now, when we talk revolution, we're talking about, we want to reclaim America, 1776 revolution, not something new, but rekindle our original revolutionary principles. Again, the right to life, the right to freedom, the right to speak your mind freely, right to speech, right to freedom of religion, freedom of worship, freedom to assembly, freedom of the press. And that's a nice segue right there, because you and I said this in the very beginning, and I'll probably go ahead. It's going to be kind of a short video for me tonight because I'm just kind of focused and I don't want to get too far afield. Freedom of the press. They're now censoring the people they don't like. They're censoring views that they think are dangerous to their way of life or their cause or their philosophy. Nope, no more. We're not going to listen to these kinds of people anymore. That's dangerous, folks. That is clearly dangerous. And we're here tonight. I'm here tonight because why? Because we don't have a free, objective media. 90% of these people have been bought and paid for. Now, whether they've been bought and paid for by, Red China, I don't know. Sounds like it. But the bottom line is there's only one politically accepted narrative, and that's the only one that you can talk about. To say anything contrary is now you become an enemy of the state. There have been a lot of movies, a lot of books that have, kind of predicted or kind of saw that this could be part of our future. Well, it seems like the future is now here. And if you think that Biden and Harris, oh, by the way, all I'm going to say is that Harris is certainly Biden her time. Would I like to see the 25th Amendment enacted? Well, yeah, I think Joe Biden is mentally compromised, and I think he's got dementia. I don't think he's capable of honestly running this country. I think he's a senile old man, and I think they just give him a script and tell him to talk into the camera, and when they're done, they kind of shuffle him off to his little room, and they let him, they kind of, he's just a little figurehead. So, maybe I am in favor of the 25th Amendment being enacted for Mr. Biden, okay? There's a young man who, for some reason, started showing up in my YouTube queue. A young Korean young man, and maybe I'll try, providing it's not censored already. If I can, I'll try to put a link in there, but I'll actually try and put his little original, the video that I saw the other day, which really made me stop and think. Now, I don't know who he is. All I can say is that I've shared it with other people, and everybody I'd say that sees this, they say this guy seems 100% sincere and legit. Don't know how he knows what he knows. Don't know other than it's a very spiritual thing, and that's part of his message is, this ain't over yet, folks. There's a big spiritual war going on, and a lot of people have no eyes to see it, but it's happening. So, I don't know what the next few days, hell, I don't even know what the next few hours are going to look like. Because I do know with totalitarian regimes, they don't waste any time taking out their retribution on their enemies, their political enemies. I mean, all you got to do, folks, is look at the irrational hatred that Nasty Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and others have for this man named Donald Trump. It's incredible. It is absolutely incredible. I mean, I thought I knew what hate was. Man, it's like the guy has have a few more days left. He's trying, if you just give him a chance, to, exit the stage. And now you're threatening to basically impeach him and throw him in jail. You're probably going to take him and his family and take him. It's almost like what happened with the Tsar in Russia. Tsar Nicholas. It's basically, you're done. You're done here. Get rid of him. Take him under house arrest. And then a few months later, you take him down to a basement and you say, we're going to take your picture. Oh, they took their picture all right. And then they shot him to death. They murdered him in cold blood. Are we going to do that to President Trump and his family? The way it's going right now, that is a real possibility. And that should scare you. Scares me. Because that's not America. I'm going to look back probably on this video and say, man, life was good back then. Because it could all be gone in a matter of days. Come banging on your door saying, okay, get in the truck, get in the cattle truck. Where am I going? We'll tell you when you get there. But what have I done? Rifle butt across the jaw, break your jaw, get in the truck, no more questions. Okay. Because that's the road we're already on. It's not where we might go. We're already on that road. And unless reasonable people, praise God, please God, will at least be able to stand up and say, enough's enough. Okay? You've got to stop and pause. You've got to take a big, deep breath of reality and rationality. Because where we're heading, it's bloodlust. And it's insatiable. Once that demon gets the taste of blood, just think French Revolution, guillotines, think Bolshevik revolutions and all the mass graves of all the innocent people. because they're enemies of the state. And maybe that's the question I leave you with tonight. Are you going to be an enemy of the state? And you know what's really scary is you don't get to decide that. They do. All right, dear friends, enough's enough. All I can say is it's what I normally have said for the last, 10 years now? Almost 10. Well, I think I started this in 2000 and, I guess it is 10 years. I think I made my first pipe YouTube in 2011. So here it is, 2021. It's 10 years. So don't despair. Light up your world and light up your pipe. Or maybe I should say, light up your pipe and light up the world. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Hey, so what's going on, guys? So I want to do a follow-up video. I'm still here in DC. The Lord's pressed it on my heart just to stay for another few days, just to really pray over and just to get in His presence. And last night I was up late just praying and just being able to be with Him and commune with Him. And He's given me a lot more revelation, a lot more peace. And He just wants me to share again, just some encouraging words. You know that we're in tumultuous times right now. If you've been following me, you know that I've been proclaiming that Trump would have a second term. I still believe that. And right now we're at the point where all we can do is rely on the Lord. And I've been saying in the last few videos that the Lord is going to really turn it around. He's going to give a 180 miraculous type of thing. And yesterday I mentioned that prophetically, I believe that it is going to be in some sort of a military fashion. It's going to be in some way that all of the evil, all of the people that are behind these things is going to be exposed. And what you see in the media, and I said this in another video, it is not what it seems. It is not what it seems. And right now, more than ever, I want to encourage you guys, as you've been seeing my videos, if you've been following me the last couple of months, the focus here is that you need to get right with the Lord. You need to be in a place where you can hear from Him and hear from Him only. You can't be in a place where you are relying on news and this and that, and you have to really ask the Lord and come before Him and say, Lord, what is the truth? What is it that you want me to hear? What is it that is actually going on in the world, despite what people say, despite what anybody says, even for myself, right? This is only a channel that's meant to support and supplement your walk with Christ, because I'm not anybody special, and you guys know me as I've proclaimed this. I'm not anybody special. Even the prophetic words that I give, it's only a role. It's only a part of the body of Christ to encourage you, because the Lord has allowed me to go first to see and witness some things. He sent me here. He's allowed me to see firsthand at the grassroots level what it is that's going on. And even as you look behind me, what I see is legions of angels are coming down in this moment to really fight on behalf of this nation and for the democracy, for the people that have prayed. And so many people I've just been seeing online, they've been dropping like flies because of what, again, media and what this whole certification thing was. And yes, that is true. That is happening in the physical. But as I mentioned yesterday, there are things happening in the spiritual that you don't see. And it's all being done so that people can be exposed. They can be tested. Their faith is tested. And right now, let me tell you guys, I'm not wavering. I'm not moving. And I'm not scared. I'm not in fear. And people even ask me, Chris, if this doesn't come to pass, what are you going to do? I don't even think about that right now. I'm not even worried about my reputation. I'm not worried about any of these things, because I know there's a far greater battle right now going on, and it's for the souls of this country. It's for the people that have really righteously come before Him and stood up for what is just and what is true. And as it says in 2 Corinthians or 2 Chronicles 20, the battle is mine. The battle is mine. It's not yours to fight. And so right now we're in that hour. We're in that place right before the Red Sea opens up, where people are doubting. People are they just can't see it. And I've said this before. There is a period that's going to be happening where it's just going to get worse. The chaos is going to get worse, and there's going to be a lot of uproar. There's going to be a lot of things, but you've got to stand firm, and you've got to be able to be rooted in Christ. And if you don't know Him, now is a chance, and now is the time, because God's opening a floodgate of revival. He's going to position this country. He's going to position people that are abiding in Him, that seek Him, and that seek truth, and He's going to anoint and bless and allow these people to go forth and really see the truth. But if you are one of those people who have you're clouded by your pride and your preconceived notions and your feelings and your emotions, it's not going to be good for you, because God's going to allow, and God says He's the one that allows your judgment to be clouded. He sends a strong delusion, right? And so He's not going to allow you to see, because your heart is not in the right place. And this channel is all about that, to get yourself right with a relationship with God, to encourage you to love and to really seek Him and to love others. And again, like I've said before, if your horizontal relationships are not right, whether it's your family, your friends, whether it's your view on Trump, or whether it's your view on, patriots, or whatever it is, if that is not right, then your vertical is not going to be right. Your vertical with the Lord, your relationship with God is going to be hindered. And that's what the Lord is sending me, as well as many other prophetic voices and other Christians on YouTube and other places, to really warn and remind people of, because now is the time. It's coming. It's going to be chaotic. And you have to have a relationship with God so that you can discern properly the news. You can discern properly what is going on around us. Because right now, more than ever, there's a cloud of deception that's coming down, and that's allowing people to, again, be riding that bandwagon effect of anger, of bitterness. And you're going to hear something, and your temptation is just going to take that soundbite, take that news, and just run with it and say, see, and then you're just going to get angry. But you have to stop. You have to stop and say, Lord, what is it that I'm really seeing here? Is there something behind it? Is there meaning behind it? Is there a reason behind it? And what is that reason, Father? I want to know the truth. I want to seek the truth. And this truth starts first and foremost with Jesus Christ at the center of your life. And this is the time right now. People are coming to know Him. People are understanding the truth, both of the physical world, meaning what is going on in this nation, what is going on with the fraud, what is going on with the invisible elite, and with all of the agenda that's going on behind the big tech, and then the mainstream media, and everybody that's in the positions of power and that are rich. And that's what's going on in the physical, and I say this in another video, Understanding the Times, and then what's going on in the spiritual, because God is opening doors. He's allowing people to come to repentance, come to humility, come to know Him, and to really open their hearts up to receive Jesus as their Lord and Savior, as well as humble the pharisaical hearts, humble the people that believe and think that they know something, that they think they're right with God, but because of their ignorance, because of their pride, they don't understand what's going on in the physical. And He's opening both sides up right now. And right now, more than ever, I want to encourage you guys, it's going to be chaotic. Like I've said before, it's going to get a little worse before it gets better. And right now, what you're about to witness, and as I said this in yesterday's video, is you're going to witness a miracle. You're going to witness the move of God like you've never seen before. And you've got to just trust that. You got to have faith, and you cannot be wavering. And if you are in a place where you're not sure, just wait it out, pray for it, and just ask the Lord, Lord, what am I missing? What is this guy doing? Does he sound crazy? Or is there something more behind what he's saying? Because Father, I want to understand the truth. I want to know what's going on. And when you hear rumors and rumors of wars, don't be alarmed. It says that in Matthew 24. Don't be alarmed. This verse applies so much now, more than ever, because what you're going to see in the next couple of weeks is going to be that final showdown, and it's going to get crazy. And you're going to hear a lot of things, and some things just don't make sense. Why would they impeach or try to impeach Trump when he only has, quote unquote, 2 weeks left? It's because people are frantically panicking right now. They know they're cornered. They know they have the evidence. They know that the trial is coming, the justice is coming, and a lot of things are going to be exposed. And if you're on the side of righteousness, if you're on the side of the Lord, then of course He's going to deliver on that promise. He's not going to just allow things to come to waste and just to let things be, because a lot of people have been praying, a lot of people have been really seeking the Lord, and people are being humbled. And for the sake of the remnant of this nation, and for all those other people in the world that are praying, God is going to deliver, and He's going to allow people to really enjoy His blessing and His deliverance of His people. And so we're at that point. We're at that point where right before Haman was going to get hanged on the gallows, we're at that point right now before the Red Sea, before Moses and God was going to open the seas, and it's just so daunting. You just don't see it, but again, it's a test of your faith. It's a test of what the Lord is going to do, because remember, He's going to get all the glory. And what happened for the elections? Everyone could have predicted that, like, oh Lord, yeah, on January 6th, it could turn around this way. And even with that, right? If you could conjure it in your mind, then of course, then you wouldn't really give God all the glory, because you thought, I see, it came all the way to this, only for people to have a change of heart and whatever. All those things, again, now it looks so impossible, but this is when the Lord strikes. This is when the Lord is going to do something crazy, because that is how faith works, and a testing of faith, and especially at the level this is, which is at a high level, at the country level. And people don't even know this, but this is a real life Bible story playing out before our eyes, and it's going to be written down as one of those, very succinctly summarized, that angels are coming down, helping, wickedness is being exposed, all those things are coming to light, and you just don't know it, because you see it as something in this moment, in this moment in time, as being impossible and being daunting. But again, like I said, many of us are still standing firm. Many of us have not turned away from the faith. And I want to encourage you, if you're one of those people, you're praying for the nation, you're praying for me, you're praying for other people, and other prophetic voices, stand strong and continue praying, because now is not the time to let up. And the Lord says, watch and see what I'll do. The battle is not yours, it is mine. And he's about to rout the enemies, and he's doing that now. He's routing the enemies, just like the 3 enemies that came against King Jehoshaphat in the same passage, 2 Chronicles 20. He's doing the same thing right now. He's routing the enemies. They're panicking, and they're doing this, and they're profaning Trump's name. They're censoring him, and they're just doing all sorts of things that they can to create the narrative and create the story that they want, so that the people, though, are still clouded, that they don't come to the truth, they don't come to an understanding of what's going on in both the physical but also in the spiritual. And so if you are aware in the physical and you're just coming upon this channel in this video, I encourage you, get a revival in the spiritual. Be awakened in the spiritual, because you think you know something here, which is good, but you don't know the Lord, and you need to know the Lord. And if you do know the Lord here and you don't know what's going on in the physical, meaning all of the understanding of the times right now, then you need to wake up, because right now, more than ever, it's affecting you. Legislation is affecting you, wickedness is affecting you, and these things are going to impact the next several years of your life, and it's gonna not be good for you. And if you continue to be in your pride, if you continue to be in your ignorance, and you don't humble yourself with the Lord and say, Lord, what is it that I'm missing? Then you're gonna miss out on a lot of things. You're gonna miss out on a lot of open doors. You're gonna miss out on a lot of different chances for revival and for just sanctification. So I want to encourage you with this video. This is gonna be my last day. Tomorrow I'm flying out, but I want to encourage you with this, because a lot more is to come. And this channel is going to encourage you, and it's going to help you really to seek the Lord and really to put him first. And in this season, we need to pray for it. We need to have an understanding of what is going on in the world, and especially with the U.S. Even if you're international, it's going to affect you too, because this country affects the world. And so you're going to see that. And so I just want to pray for you guys and just really ask that the Lord open your heart and just come to revival. So stay tuned for more. A lot more is coming, and God's going to be working. So just sit back and watch, because God's going to do all the work now. God bless you guys. We'll talk soon.